Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends the part of the world you are joining us currently. I remember as a Chika Austin, and of course, we have a very interesting time. We are going to look at issue from diverse perspectives, and that is why we are here this very moment to give justice to the topics we are dealing with this very moment. Of course, I will be having my guest here. I will be having my guest here. No, and hope he joins quickly so that we can make this particular program a lively one. Very, very important. Very, very important. Let me see if he's getting the request. I want also to seize this opportunity to say happy Sunday to those of us watching out there. So while we are waiting for Doctor to join us, I hope he's getting the request so that he can join us here and give, of course, intellectual contribution to what we are doing. Very, very important. Okay, let me see if okay. Let me see for okay. Let me put a call across and see if he's getting the request to join the program. We have a very, very interesting discussion to talk about, and I believe he will be joining us. Doc, are you getting the request? No, that is not. I sent a request. So hold on, let me see if I sent a request prior to the commencement of the program, but let me see. Okay, can you send requests from your own end? Can you send requests of your own end? Can you send a request of joining from your own end? Okay, try. Yeah. Okay. While we're waiting for the arrival of Doctor to join us on this program, it's important to understand that what we are discussing is a topic that centers on self-determination revolution, and terrorism. These are things we want to talk about this very moment. And it will also interest you to know that Dr. Odera Igwe, that will soon be joining us, the man you're seeing the picture there, is a lecturer in one of the European universities. He is a lawyer. He is an expert on international relations. He has also made a wonderful contributions in international journal platforms. I'm just trying to give a foundational base so that you understand the angle at which he is, reached with knowledge. Because the topic we want to discuss here, we strongly believe that he has, what it takes to really, enlighten and inform us as regards to that. So while we are waiting for the request, it's important I also point our attention to some of the pedigrees at which he's known for and some of the intellectual jobs he has done. The sticker you're seeing here is one of his journal he published in one of the international rated journals publication site. So, and while we are waiting for him to get him on camera, I want to let us understand that the work you're seeing there, Dr. Dera published that work sometime last year, if I'm not mistaken, and it was really an intellectual contribution to the struggle, because he really talked about Biafra immensely. That this work you're seeing was published on 1st of I think on January 2026. So this year he published this work, and the title of this work is The Africa Rule and the Current Perception of Post-Independence Secession in Africa. So he is going to tell us a lot of things, his experiences while doing this work, rejections, acceptability, a lot of things he encountered. And that's why I think he is an ideal person to be here and give us a proper education. Let me try once again to re-add him, but if that is not working, perhaps we are going to get him. Maybe okay. I think I can see the request now. No. This is someone else. Someone else is requesting. Please want Dr. Dera to send a request. Let me call him and see what is going on with him. Probably it might be, trying to get across. Hello? Hi. Are you sending the request on this particular ongoing program? Yeah, the one you have for 8,000. Yes. Okay. Okay. I saw a request, but it didn't come with your. It didn't come with a name. Dera. I saw some. So are you still the same person sending with the name? Okay. Okay. The account you use in following recently, am I correct? Okay, okay. Let me do that quickly. Please, audience, you have to be patient. We really need to get him on board. You know, he's a resource person, so we are doing our best to really have him on board. Okay, I'm sending you, and he's even restricting me from sending him. He said this person is unavailable on Messenger, so I don't know. Doc, do you understand what I said? Yes. Is restricting me access to send you message. I don't know. I don't have Facebook. Please, we beg for your patience while we're trying to get this result. While we're trying to do this, we also ask you to, okay, I'm seeing your message, but this is not in the account we are using. I'm seeing your message in the other of my account. Doc. Yes. Yeah. So can you send him a message to his account so like he will join with the other account? Okay, which of that? This one, is it the one I'm responding to? Check this one, but this the account you are live with, can you send him a message to this current account? Okay, let me try. Let me see what we do that. I think we don't want to, get our viewers. Okay, I'm trying to get that quickly so that okay, what I'm getting here is that I cannot send. I think someone. Okay. He said this person you cannot send message to this person. Or let me screenshot what it appears like, perhaps. And I wish Facebook would understand and give us some good moment to roll this. Okay, while we are doing that, Doc, I can get you on WhatsApp so that we don't keep our viewers and listeners, because are you with me? Okay, yeah, can you send the link to the live to his WhatsApp? Good. Oh, good. Let me do that now. Okay, I have done that now. Just check it out. Have you seen the link? Yes. Okay, try to see if you can get across through the link. You just send a request so that we'll get you on board. Okay, for our wonderful listeners, I know every one of us is curious to really, get knowledge in respect to the tripod issues we are going to talk about, which centers on self-determination, revolution, and terrorism. And like I said, for those of us who are newly joining on this program, we are having a resource person on the topics we are talking about this very moment, and he is Mazi Odera Igwe, a doctor. I must say that, though he always protests that. Mazi Odera Igwe is a lawyer. He is a lecturer, so it means he's imparting knowledge already in, should I say, Euro-Asia continent. And of course, he is an expert on international relations. And you should understand, you can't talk about self-determination without talking about law. which has to do with international law. You should also be highly knowledgeable in geopolitics. This is where international relations comes in. So while we are privileged to have him on our program today, we are waiting for him so that he can be on live video. But if we can't get that done, we can roll on audio where we get him interviewed via WhatsApp. And of course, so let me get back to him and know what is going on. Doctor, are you finding it extremely difficult? What is going on?
I'm trying to download the Messenger, Facebook Messenger to speak. The link is not directing us to the page. But let me try to see if I can link to the Messenger, download the Messenger.
Okay. Let's do it this way. Why the person assisting you on the background can be handling that, let us get you on WhatsApp voice and roll while we're waiting for that to be done. Would that be fine?
Okay.
Would that be fine?
Yes, no problem. I'm okay with that.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Once again, I sincerely apologize for that hitches on getting that. Maybe before we also get you back on this platform, we're going to make sure issues of such degrees are being solved as early as possible. We sincerely apologize. Okay, we are welcome back. We are hitting the ground now. And Doc, recently I was going through your contribution on the International Journal platform. And of course, I read you discussing Biafra. But before that, please tell our viewers whom you are. Very, very important. Because I think I might not have, talk more about you. So tell us who you are, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Fred Igwe, Odera Igwe. I studied law in the University of Calabar, and I went to Nigerian Law School, Lagos. After that, I practiced law in Lagos and in Abuja before I traveled abroad to Cyprus precisely to do my master's. And I finished my master's here in 2020. Then I started my PhD. Actually, I did my master's in law also, international law. My PhD was in international relations. And, it was a kind of experience I don't want to, I wouldn't want to come to me anymore because of this Biafra agitation has cost me a lot. I don't know. Some people will not understand the implication of what we are doing. Anywhere you go in the world and you mention Biafra, I can bet you that they will hate you immediately. I don't know what is in that name Biafra. And when I was choosing my topic, I chose a topic that has to do with Biafra. I call it, it has to do with cessation and the reaction of the international...
Sorry. At what level? Is it when you were doing your master's or PhD? So that we get something clear.
No, when I did my PhD, my thesis was on, it has to do with international law of the sea. So that is different. It's quite different from cessation. It was when I was doing my PhD that I chose a topic that has to do with Biafra. Okay? Is that clear to you?
Yes, it's clear. It's clear.
Yes, then I chose the topic that has to do with Biafra. So cessation and the reaction of the international community to the Biafran case. So I started it in 2020. Then I did. They had two components: course aspect of the course and the thesis aspect. So I had no issues with the course aspect of it. It didn't take me time. Then I chose a supervisor. I didn't know much about him. He never taught me any of the courses. So when I chose him to supervise me, I realized that he had issues with the topic. He had issues with Biafra. Sometimes he would accuse me of being biased. So you will be surprised. Why you don't something you don't even know anything about, you don't have an inkling about. Then you are thinking that I am biased. Biased about what? Why don't you make your own research to find out whether I am biased or not? But I realized that there's something inherently bad about that name, Biafra, for them, not for us. You understand that? So it's a problem. And I remember That was my third year in the program, second year in the program. I had some Nigerians from Yoruba, from Edo, and other places in Benue, people from Kenya and other countries, Turkey and what have you. It happened that one of the professors there was teaching us about unity, that she wanted a place whereby all of us be one, talking about one country. We behave like if all of us in one country, like Kwame Nkrumah was advocating one Africa then. And I said that, but on the island here where we live, where I study, we pay differently. What we pay is not the same thing that some people pay. So I realized that those Africans, they were attacking me, trying to defend the woman. I don't know why they did that. So, so now, when the issue of Biafra came up, she was like, why don't you remain in Nigeria? I said, but you people also fighting for independence from Cyprus, because this is northern part of the Cyprus. And you don't want me to also have my own freedom. So that baffled me. Why she would say that? That was when I began to recollect what were some of the things our former leader, Nnamdi Kanu, said about Biafra. What happened in America when they were celebrating Trump's victory after the election. Someone was hiding the camera, didn't want to capture the Biafran flag. That was when it dawned on me that there's a problem. Okay? Now, after that, I now got this professor that supervised me for some time. And I was supposed to leave last year because my paper was ready. Mm-hmm. So when I told him that my paper was ready, I didn't see any sign from him that he wanted me to graduate. So there's what they call committee. They set up a committee that will look into your thesis to see whether your thesis is okay or not. I mean, at the end of the day, the man gave me 5 things, the committee members, and the man gave me 5 things to work on. At the end of the day, I did it. So it was surprised that they gave me another 38 to resolve. So I was asking them, why giving me...
Okay. I let me draw you back a bit so that we get these issues precept upon precept. You know, when you talk about Biafra, it means a lot of things to a lot of people. At every level of the society, people tend to interpret it from their own perspective. But comprehensively, when we talk about Biafra, we're talking about self-determination. We're talking about the right of the people to decide their fate. Let's look at the academic environment at which you're coming from. What signal does the name Biafra send to the academic environment?
Okay. First of all, I have to explain the concept of self-determination. So when it comes to self-determination, a lot of people confuse self-determination with secession. They are not the same. Okay? Self-determination is all encompassing. So I can say that secession is part of self-determination. So you have 2 dimensions of self-determination.
Okay.
You have internal self-determination and you have external self-determination.
Can you please cite instances of what internal self-determination reflects, or where it?
I will explain. Yes, on it.
Okay.
So when it comes to internal self-determination, it has to do with the right of a people or a group of people or a territory to enjoy economic, civil, political, and cultural rights within their own country, the parent state. Like Nigeria, for instance, is the parent state of the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Hausa, or whatever you call it, okay? So the parent state here is Nigeria. So self-determination, internal self-determination has to do with the right of the Igbo people to enjoy all these rights within Nigeria. Now, external self-determination has to do with secession. Do you understand that now? It has to do with parting of a territory of a parent state. A group of people might decide that we don't want to be part of this country, and they have their own country. That has to do with external self-determination. But in the first instance I mentioned, it had nothing to do with parting of territory. So there are circumstances that can lead to external self-determination. Okay? So we have what is called primary right theory and what we call secondary right theory. And that secondary right theory has to do, is called remedial secession. Primary right theory is simply means that a people have a right to have their own country if they decide that they want to have their own country, whether their rights have been abused or their rights have not been abused. they can have the right. That's one of the school of thought says. Okay, so you have what called ascriptive and associative primary right theories. The first one I mentioned, associative, has to do with when a group of people come together and say we want to have our own country, whether they have linguistic relationship, religious relationship, or any other relationship, history, and what have you. That has to do with associative theory of primary right secession. Then the second dimension has to do with ascriptive. Ascriptive simply means that you people share some culture, you share some religion, you share some language, like we have in Igbo land, and also similar, like we have in Asian, you have in what do you call the district in River State,
the
people, exactly, all those areas, Ogoni. We don't have the same language. We share similar, almost similar language, but not the same. So you can say that we share some cultures. So in that aspect, you can say that that is ascriptive primary right theory. Now you have remedial right theory. Remedial right theory simply means that a people or a group of people can have their own freedom where their rights have been violated. What are those rights? Internal rights of self-determination, civil rights, political rights, cultural rights, and economic rights. Where these rights have been violated, then the people have a right to have their own country. But there is a problem here. The problem is here, the argument is that, yes, you might argue that you have a right to self-determination, but there's a totally issue of territory, sovereignty, and the territorial integrity of a country. Okay? So if you place this side by side, you see that the issue of self-determination is problematic.
Okay. Let me get something here, because you are talking about the strongness of right for self-determination, and you are also talking about the strongness of the concept of sovereignty, territorial integrity. Now, you have done several research. You have also interacted with, broader minds, wider minds as regards to the issue on discourse. Where the right of self-determination is at stake, does the concept of territorial integrity override it? Did you get me, Doc?
Yes, I heard you. I heard you. I heard you. I heard you clearly.
So the reason why I asked that question, the reason why I asked that question to you is this. So that, every day we learn. This is a movement. For the Father is a movement. Every day we embody our mind. And coming to the fact that you have invested a whole lot of time, resources to understand these concepts, the concept of territorial integrity, the concept of self-determination, and what have you. And we are asking to learn from a man who have invested a whole lot of time on this, to say where the question of self-determination is at stake, does the concept of territorial integrity override that right for self-determination? And if yes, can we be exposed to certain instances?
Thank you. When it comes to issues of territory, sovereignty, and self-determination, it's highly problematic. And I will have to explain it simply so that everyone can understand it, okay? From this perspective, I want to come in here now. The concept of sovereignty, territorial integrity has to do with order. Now, the concept of self-determination has to do with justice.
Okay.
Now, there's what is called balancing, where the concept of self-determination conflicts with territorial integrity, which one triumphs. And I can explain to you that there is this preponderance of the concept of territorial integrity has preponderance when it comes to that. than this concept of order. But I'll give you, there's what is called exception. For those who are lawyers, in every general rule, that's what is called exception. You know, there are exceptions to every general rule, okay? Now, secession itself is called a special right. What did I call it? A special right. Why is it special? It's a special right because it has to do with a concept that tries to conflict with the territorial integrity to breach the concept of territorial integrity. That is why it's called a special right. And I'll give you examples here. Do you know Kosovo?
Yeah, I know Kosovo, Serbia, and all the rest of it.
Yes, Kosovo, Bangladesh. I will use these two countries to make examples in some sense. Well, in the case of Bangladesh, which was then Eastern Pakistan, the National Committee supported the self-determination of Bangladesh. Now, the argument of the international community was that what ordinarily should not have been possible was made possible in the case of Bangladesh because of the situation of Bangladesh. It means that Pakistan violently violated the rights of the people of Bangladesh. Not only violating that, but systematic. You know what's called systematic? It has to be systematic. So they systematically violated the right of the people of Bangladesh. That was why the international community supported independence of Bangladesh. That's an exception. Now, in the case of Kosovo, America and its Western allies like Britain, France, Japan, Korea, and other countries supported the independence of Kosovo. When Kosovo declared independence in 2008, the argument was that Kosovo had exhausted negotiations with the parent state, Serbia. Therefore, Kosovo has to be independent. And Kosovo's case was a special case because there was what is called religion on agreement reached with a country.
Okay, okay, Doc, I don't really mean to cut you off. You know, I managed to pen down two strong words you posited, talking about order and justice. You said self-determination has to do with justice. The issue of territorial integrity has to do with order. Am I correct? And
yes.
The classical allusion you just gave, talking about Bangladesh and the Kosovo, could one also say, please, you can round up what you're saying. Don't forget the correlation you were coming for. But let me say this so that you also add it up while, summarizing. Could one say that Bangladesh independence or recognition as a sovereign state is a product of justice, while that of Kosovo is a product of order? Go ahead.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Both of them have to do with order.
Okay.
Both Kosovo and Bangladesh have to do with order. But even at that, I will explain why it was easier for Kosovo, why it was easier for Bangladesh.
Okay.
India intervened in the case of Bangladesh.
Okay.
Yes, India intervened in the case of Bangladesh, and I will tell you why India intervened. Bangladesh leaving Pakistan weakened Pakistan as a country.
Okay.
So Pakistan will not be able to withstand India in any conflict. That was why India supported Bangladesh.
So it was more of dual interest, the interest of the Bangladesh people and the interest of India as a government.
Exactly. Now, if you can give me time, I will explain it.
Go ahead. Sorry for that interjection. Sorry for that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in the case of Bangladesh, the international community, as I said earlier, made an argument that ordinarily international law does not permit secession. The international community will not permit secession, but it was permitted in the case of Bangladesh because of the situation of Bangladesh. But even at that, Biafra was also in similar situation in 1967 and 70. But the international community did not intervene. In the case of Biafra, the same thing applies to Katanga from Congo. They didn't intervene in the case of Katanga. The United Nations only sent contingent to go and protect the territory. They argued that they would not support the division of Congo. the respected Congolese territorial integrity. Everything has to do with interest, a boiled down to interest. That's what I want to explain to you. Okay. A boiled down to interest. Now, in the case of Kosovo, Russia, America, Germany, and Britain supported independence of Kosovo because Russia is an eternal ally of Serbia. Now, if Serbia divided, Russia will be weakened. So all these things have to do with interest. They might come with idea of, we're talking about justice here. No, it has nothing to do with justice. If you ask me, it has to do with interest, strategic interest. I'll give you an example. When Israel declared independence in 1948, Israel had no definite territory. But America recognized Israel because of America's strategic interest in Israel. And
sorry, I'm forced to use my rope and draw you back again. You know, okay, you should forgive me, but for the sake of our listener, wonderful, yeah, amazing listener, you made a very strong statement. He said by the time Israel declared independent, Israel had no territory.
Definite territory.
Okay, definite territory. That means there was no a place defined to be the land of Israel.
Exactly.
But today you have state of Israel. So it's more of, you see, the reason why we should listen you repeatedly is because from all you have said so far, everything ends to the fact of strategic interest and strategic positioning. Am I correct, Doc?
Yes. And just please remind me if I forget about this the case of South Sudan.
Okay.
I have to explain that also to you.
Good. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So when Israel declared independence, okay, before then, I have to tell you that's what is called there are what is called criteria for statehood. For you to become a country, you have to meet this criteria. Number one.
Hold on. Doc, repeat that statement again. You know, I understand. I understand where we never paid you for this. This is a wonderful, classic, lecture on international politics. Now, the criteria you're talking about, who set up those criteria? Because it's important we understand all these things. You know, we understand these things exist, this concept exists. It is set up by social powers or elements. So, who set up the criteria and what are the compositions of these criteria for statehood?
Thank you very much. Yes, you have conventions like you have Vienna Convention of 1933. You have different conventions that have to do with this. So now, specifically, when it comes to that 1933 convention, it made it clear that for you to become a country, you must have a permanent population. You can write it down. If you can ask me questions, I will explain them one after the other. You must have a permanent population, right? You must have a definite territory. You must have the ability to control your territory. Number four, you must have the capacity to enter into international relations. How many did I mention? Four.
Four.
Yes. So these are the criteria for statehood. That's another one, but these are the most basic criteria for statehood. So Israel did not meet the territorial, the issue, that the one that had to do with territory. Even Macedonia, Macedonia from Serbia, some of these countries that left, like Bosnia Herzegovina, they never met this criteria. Yet, they were recognized as countries by the Bantinta Commission. When there was, after the Yugoslavia explode, first of all, Slovenia got independence and Croatia. So when they got their independence, the international community recognized the independence of Croatia and Slovenia. Notwithstanding the fact that as a place called, within that Croatia, the Serb people, also there's a minority Serb population there, yet they recognize the independence of Croatia. Okay? Now, but some of these countries I met, like Croatia was able to defend itself, defend its territory. Slovenia was able to defend its territory, but Bosnia was not able to do that. Bosnia-Herzegovina. By 1993, when Macedonia declared independence, it wasn't able to do that, and the Bantinta Commission set up by the European Union did not recognize the independence of Macedonia, But by 1993, when Macedonia was able to control its territory, the Bandita Commission recognized the independence of Macedonia. That was how Macedonia became a country.
Okay.
Right? So these are the criteria. And if you ask me, Biafra met all these criteria in 1967, except one, inability to control its territory. Now, and one of the problems we had, we didn't have any superpower that supported us. So if we had any superpower that supported us, we would have been independent. Then in 1967, 70, we had the former president, Tanzania recognized Biafra. Zambia recognized Biafra. Ivory Coast recognized Biafra. Gabon recognized Biafra. And Haiti recognized Biafra. But look at these countries I mentioned. They are not heavyweights, right? But it cannot discountenance their impute. Now, the argument that the Tanzanian president Mwalimu Julius Nyerere put forward then was that, yes, Africa has a policy that what is called uti positatis, okay? That uti positatis is a principle of international law that says that the international community will not allow new states to emerge to have to protect the territories of countries that newly emerged. So that was the argument of the African country then in 1967 that they would not recognize Biafra as an independent nation. But the president of Tanzania argued that, yes, we have something like this, but it was expedient. That was why we have such thing. But look at the Biafran situation. So we have to do something about Biafra. Okay, when a government that is supposed to protect its people can no longer protect its people, it means that such a people can be allowed to have their own country. That was the argument Julius Nyerere put forward.
Okay. Let me also Doc, I need you to re-emphasize on this.
Sorry, I mentioned South Sudan. Let me not forget.
We are coming back. We are definitely going to get that. But when you push up a very disturbing statements, I will be forced to come in. You did talk about that Biafra met all the criteria highlighted so far, but there was a kind of consensus and understanding amongst players in the African continent, stating that there was no need to allow existing states in Africa to experience disintegration. Am I correct?
Sure, you're 100% right.
Could that be said to be the core reason that led to the failure of that project, despite to the strong fact you highlighted earlier of non-having of a superpower? These two strong positions played the core role in the inability of the actualization of that vision.
Thank you. Yes, this is very important. I agree with you. Yes, the greatest obstacle to Biafran's actualization has to do with the African stance, the African Union. What was it called then? OAU?
Yes, the defunct OAU.
Yes, that is the main reason Biafra was not actualized. OAU has this policy that they will not allow any country emerging from Africa. For them, they argue that will be setting a dangerous precedent. That when that happens, other countries might want to have independence from Africa. But I want to explain something to you.
Go ahead.
Like Europeans will tell you that this is superficial. That's the argument. When you write something like this in articles, they will tell you that it's superficial. And anytime they tell you that something is superficial, it means that is the real problem of Africa. Okay? Now, these boundaries they created in Africa are the major problem we're having today in Africa. And Europeans, when they were leaving Africa, they said, leave the boundaries the way they are, because they know that if the boundaries are withdrawn, Africa will have peace. And if African countries have peace, they won't be stealing from us. Is that clear to you? That is why African countries are not independent. As I'm talking to you, only 3 African countries are independent. I can say 5. Namibia is independent. Botswana is independent. Mali is independent. Burkina Faso is independent. Nigeria. These are only 5 African countries that are independent. Other ones are still under new colonialism.
Well, Doc, before this program, we spoke before bringing you on this program. You never sounded controversial but suddenly you seem to be tuning up towards being controversial. So how could you tell me that?
I'm using the academic area now.
When we spoke before this program, you never sounded controversial. For you to tell me that only 5 African countries are truly independent is really, tell you that. And I believe our listeners might be disagreeing with you. So can we hear those countries again? And meanwhile,
I mentioned
yes, yeah. Meanwhile, you also have to also let us what changed from OAU's position to what we had in South Sudan. Do not forget, because if they had that position that they don't want new emerging state in Africa, and all of a sudden that happened in South Sudan, what actually played? Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very important question. And not only South Sudan now, but also Eritrea. Don't forget Eritrea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Eritrea, let me start with Eritrea. Eritrea fought a civil war for over 30 years, or let's call it 30 years with Ethiopia. Then it wasn't African Union that intervened. African Union didn't do anything about the case of Eritrea. It was international community that intervened. They used it as a conflict solving mechanism. Sometimes secession can be used as a conflict solving mechanism. That was what they applied in the case of Ethiopia. A lot of people died in the case of Ethiopia, right? That was why the international community intervened in the case of Eritrea. Then Eritrea lost almost 1 million people or so during that war, and Eritrea only constituted about 10% of Ethiopia's population. Imagine the number is like 10 million fighting against 100 million people. So a lot of them died, they were ready to die. Now, in the case of South Sudan, African Union, or whatever you call it, did not intervene. In the case of South Sudan was able to gain independence because of the American evangelicals. What did I say?
American evangelicals. Doc, I must say, you are lecturing us on a free ground. Because, when we tell our people, that's why people like you must be really coming up to speak to us. When we tell our people, you must be very careful, sensitive, when you are handling certain issues, especially Christian, Jewish, and all these, people tend not to understand. So are you not telling me that the American evangelicals were so powerful to influence U.S. foreign policy in South Sudan? We are interested to know what happened, please.
Thank you very much. You know that South Sudan is mainly a Christian community.
Okay.
And as of that time, the North was trying to Arabanize the Southern people and force them to become Muslims. Those who opposed the North were either arrested or killed or whatever meant. So the Christians in America, evangelical Christians in America, forced the Bush administration to recognize, to agitate for a referendum for the people of South Sudan, right? Now, you should ask me why the American government had to adhere to that, because the evangelicals in America are very powerful. If you watch Trump road to presidency through the help of the evangelicals in America, so you oppose what? Abortion.
Yeah.
And there are same sex. Lots of same sex, lot of things. So that influenced the government of George Bush to allow South Sudan. Because if Bush refused to do that, the party Republicans might not be winning election. So it worked both sides. So for Bush to listen to the evangelicals, it will also rub my back, I rub your own back. That was exactly what happened. Like we mentioned earlier, the case of people, our place, when you tell them something, me personally, I'm not a Christian. I was born into a Christian home. I was born a Catholic. I belong to Blood Rosary. I was a member of Catholic Bible Society. But at a certain level I saw all this, the kind of thing they were doing. I wasn't comfortable with it. I left. But I cannot, you can't see me condescend so low, talk against the church. They are there to do one thing or the other for us. You can use them, they can use you. Church is very powerful. A group that can tell people that can tell someone you don't have 1 million naira in your pocket, by the end of the year you have 700 million. And so such a person believes it's a very powerful organization. So it's not an organization you can play with.
I think it's even organization. Doc is even organization that has advanced nav war system than even CIA and the Mossad.
Exactly. Look at the case of the current Pope, the current Pope today. You see, has he talked anything about Biafra, about Nigeria? He's not interested because he belongs to the globalists. He's a member of the globalists. So all these people don't understand how this things work.
Okay, Doc, let us internalize the point at which we are now. Very, very important, because it's not just talking without looking at level of power quotient as regards to what we have. Biafran population is over 90% Christians. Am I correct, Doc?
You're right.
Good.
You're right.
Okay, Doc, let us transform that numerical strength into a power-based force. I'm talking about what evangelicals are doing in the United States. I'm talking about their influence all over the world. How best do you think that the Biafran population, who have this amazing number of Christian faith, how do you think they can re-engineer that force from being a belief force to a force of pushing for global influence, as in the case of South Sudan, please?
You mean the Igbo Christians? How they can...
Yeah, the Biafran population has over 90% Christians, and by extension, evangelicals. And this population seem to be, utilized on the terms of belief system. So how do we re-engineer this force to be a force that can move certain global actors so that it can help, as we see it playing in South Sudan? You get what I'm saying? How do we consciously re-engineer that strength from soft power approach to hard power approach?
Thank you very much. Maybe some people might not want to hear what I want to say.
But you just have to say, please.
Nigeria is not a civilized country. Africa is not civilized. We're not civilized, I must admit that. You can't compare African Americans, you can't compare Nigerian Americans. Those people are civilized. You have to, what we are doing on Radio Biafra, I think is the best approach. Try to explain to them the importance of Biafra. Try to explain to them that with Biafra, everything will be better for us. Because these people you are talking about, you first of all have to educate them. You first have to civilize them before they will understand that they have power, that they can push the international community to do something. Now, let me give you an example. You have the man they call Cardinal Arinze.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinal Arinze, I think he retired now, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think he's retired now. He's an Igbo person, but he worked against the interests of the Igbos because of his personal interest. He's not civilized. So if someone like that is not civilized, I'm sorry to say that, if he's civilized, he would have tried to push the Biafra struggle outside. I think he would have gotten some cardinals from the Rome to support. But because of his personal interest, he didn't want to do that. If you look at our Reverend Fathers, our pastors, I'll give you an example. When 2017, yes, if I'm right, I saw some bishops, Catholic bishops, in a meeting with governors, Eastern governors. They brought the soldiers to kill their own people. So how do you civilize people like this? They got the bishops, Catholic bishops. I saw them, and some other bishops, maybe Anglican or so. They came together to bring Fulani soldiers into Igbo land to mobilize their own people. Look at what is happening in Imo State today. Opus Odema have murdered thousands of people. Without the blessings of the Catholic Church in Imo State, Opus Odema will not do what he's doing. So our people have a problem. I think Opus Odema was made an ambassador of Catholic Church. With all the atrocities he has committed, we have a problem. So we need to do the little one we can do to try to civilize our people, educate our people. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. I was asking someone one day, you are defending these bishops. He doesn't care about you. He would rather go and bring soldiers to kill you. But you are here defending him. That is ignorance, massive ignorance. So it's a problem. The first thing we have to do is educate our people, civilize them, not attack the church. Because if you attack the church, you isolate yourself from them. There are some people that left IPOB because of these religious issues, right? So I'm not against religious, but there's a way you can say it. But sometimes somebody will come and say, Catholic is this, Jesus is that. You don't do that. Even if you don't agree with their belief system. No one has ever seen God before. I've not seen God. So I don't know if religion that is the right religion. I respect every religion. So for someone to come out to be attacking the church, it's wrong ab initio. You don't do that. Even if you don't agree with some of the things they do. So the only thing you can do is to try to educate them, civilize them. But I'm afraid when it comes to we coming together, I mean the church coming together to push for the Biafra struggle, we have to first of all civilize them. China Saworu always says, there's a way he said it. Maybe I didn't get it right, but he always says something like that. So you first of all educate our people, civilize them before we can push forward. That is, thank you.
Okay. Okay. We'll soon be going for revolution, the issue of revolution. But let's also fall back a bit. You did mention some countries that are truly independent in Africa. What are the yardstick at which you arrive at those results?
Thank you very much. When it comes to independence, independence has to do with the ability for you to control your resources, control your territory without external interference. If you look at countries like Nigeria, can you say Nigeria is an independent country? Britain runs the show in Nigeria. I give you an example. There was an election that happened in Edo State. The British High Commissioner then was saying that the people that lost the election should go to court. What is the business interest of Britain in Nigeria? Can a Nigerian High Commissioner in UK advise people that lost the election in UK to go to court? He wouldn't do that. That shows that they are higher than you when you place it on pedestal. They're higher than you. In 2013, that was the same year Scotland was given a chance of referendum. Britain granted Scotland referendum, but at the end of the day, the people voted that they wanted to remain in UK, right? That same year, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, John Arkwright, gathered Nigerians somewhere in Kogi State, Lokoja. He was lecturing Nigerian professors were there, lecturers were there, engineers, lawyers, doctors, businessmen. He was telling them that Britain loved Nigerian democracy. Britain liked Nigerian diversity, that Britain would not allow Nigeria to divide. That was the same year 2013, and nobody slapped him. So when you see things like this, you begin to wonder, how can you say Nigeria is independent and a British High Commissioner, the country that allows Scotland to go, they are telling you that they support Nigeria's democracy and diversity. Why didn't they like European diversity? They left, they raised it. Why didn't they stay? Because you have different countries that make up UK, what do you call it? The European Union, about 27 now. They used to be 28. So why did Britain leave? Now, you go to a place like Ghana. America will send, when they deport people, they send them to Ghana. Would you consult a country independent? Would Ghanaians send the illegal immigrants in Ghana to America? They will not. That means that something is wrong here. But when you look at Namibia, look at the president of Namibia, you can talk to all these countries, can say whatever you want to say to protect the resources of Namibia. The same thing applies to Botswana. Recently, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger severe relations with France. The same France they severe relations with, Nigeria brought into Nigeria to siphon Nigerian resources. Would you call Nigeria is no, you wouldn't. Look at Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya when this guy was the president, Uhuru Kenyatta. Would you call such a country independent? You wouldn't. So I can't remember another country in Africa I can call independent. I can't. That you want to remind me.
Okay. Okay. I don't think I have any in a situation where a scholar is making a strong position, needless of having any none comes to my mind as a matter of fact.
Not in a jiffy. Not in a jiffy.
Okay.
I want to say something about Europe. I want to contrast Africa to Europe now in terms of secession. Okay. Do you give me time to go on?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Now, when you look at Europe, by 1990, Europe had about 32 countries, or thereabout. That's why I use the word about. Now, Europe has up to 48 countries. When Soviet Union broke up in the 90s, early 90s, you have Latvia, you have Estonia, you have Lithuania, you have Ukraine, you have Belarus, and other Asian, those Uzbekistan, those ones in the Asia, Tajikistan, whatever you call them, all those You have them, about 15 countries emerged from Russia, the Soviet Union, right?
Yeah.
Now, Yugoslavia happened. You have Macedonia, you have Serbia, you have Montenegro, you have Bosnia-Herzegovina, you have Slovenia, you have Croatia, right?
Yeah.
Now Czechoslovakia happened. You have Czech, you have Slovakia. The problem is, the question is, why can't African countries have the same thing? Only 2 countries in Africa emerged since then. Only Eritrea and Sudan, and they had to fight wars for several years. One of the reasons that South Sudan was allowed to go, apart from the evangelical, for the long wars. They fought civil war twice. Can Biafran fight civil war for 50 years? Only 2.5 years we fought civil war, we gave up. So it's not easy for us. You understand? That's one of the, as I said earlier, one of the reasons it's evangelical, but the second reason, they fought long wars for two times, I think over 50 years or so. There about 40, 50 years, they fought 2 civil wars. So that was one of the reasons that United Nations said, okay, allow these people go. But let me share something here. United Nations does not recognize any country.
Okay.
I hope you are aware. Yeah, it's the responsibility of international community states that do that. UN only admits countries into the United Nations. Is that clear?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's clear.
What UN can do is to assist. They can assist countries to be independent by supervising their referendum, monitoring it. They can do that. They did it in Eritrea. They did it in. Do you know Indonesia? That's a country that became independent from Indonesia. You know the country?
The black people in Indonesia, I will remember their name.
Yes, they became independence, but I don't, let me not delve into that. We have other things to do. I would have explained that, the difference between that and Biafra, and also Western Sahara. If you can allow me, but we can continue.
Yeah, okay. Let's get back a bit. There was a strong statement you made that it is important to reemphasize on that, and you also talk a bit further on that, because our people really need to, when we talk about geopolitics, some of our people tend to underplay it, or should I say downplay it, without understanding the efficacy of the knowledge towards what we are doing. You did say UN does not recognize countries, but they do admit those who have emerged. Are you saying here that on the road for self-determination, on the road for one's journey for independence or freedom seeking, that much emphasis on UN should not be the overriding coverage on such journey? Rather, one should focus more on state actors. Am I correct?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, very, very, very important. I thank you very much. This is very, very crucial, very essential. Yes, the United Nations doesn't do much when it comes to issues of self-determination, okay? First of all, you have to consider the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. France, China, Britain, America, and Russia. So these countries play a very important role when it comes to issues of admitting countries, recognizing countries from the international system. So if you are fighting for, that's why when I see some of our people use Britain openly, I laugh. And say, oh, Russia, we want Russia, we don't want Britain, we want this. Russia might recognize you. America might recognize you, and Britain will say, no, we are not recognizing you. They will use their veto power when they are voting in the Security Council. You have permanent members of the Security Council and non-permanent members of the Security Council, so they can vote. That is one of the problems Somalia is having today. Somalia has army, it has everything but the last formal status. It can operate as a state.
Are you talking about Somaliland?
So Somaliland, thank you very much. Somaliland, okay. Somaliland, not Somaliland. Somaliland from Somalia. Okay. Now, yes, Israel had recognized the independence of Somaliland. Yet, Somaliland cannot operate as a country under international system. It can only maintain various relations with Israel and maybe Qatar, United Arab Emirates. It maintains. But the moment these countries recognize independence of Somaliland, it's all over. It's all over. That is why you have to cut all these superpowers strategic countries. When you get them, it's easier for you.
So, Doc, are you technically saying, I understand how intellectuals speak in most cases. You guys are very conservative with language. Are you technically saying that being obviously rhetoric to some of these superpowers is of no use to a freedom fighter?
Can you repeat that?
I mean, I say I understand how conservative you intellectuals are when it comes to diction, language usage. And I said, from what you have said, can I sum it up by saying that we are being advised today by you to tune down on being highly, exhibiting rhetorics against these superpowers. Is that what you're technically advising?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. No, I will explain. When it comes to international politics,
I wish you don't really communicate to us in a high technical principled manner, because we have various classes of listeners and viewers. Yeah, please do help us. Yeah.
So when it comes to we need to be friends with all these people. When it comes to international politics, there is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, and there is no to remove emotions when it comes to international politics. Our people have failed to remove emotions. Look at Israel. We carry Israeli flags everywhere in the world. Israel itself know that we love Israel. Israel know that northern Nigeria and some of these people, they don't like Israel, but they are still doing business with Israel, with Nigeria. They're still doing business with Nigeria. It's all about interest, right? Now, if you attack Britain today, you attack America, you attack these countries, I mean, which country will help you when it comes to the referendum and all that? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that if you want Britain, Britain and America, if you can remember, United Kingdom colonized America, and a lot of Americans were killed during the War of Independence, right? As a matter of fact, revolution happened. It started from 1765 in America against Britain. It was France that helped America to defeat Britain. And today, America and Britain are based on friends. Do you think America does not remember what Britain did to it? It does. This is international politics. Look at Japan, the Pearl Harbor issue. Look at what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What happened? Today, Japan and America are based on friends. Our people should remove emotions when it comes to international politics. Britain murdered over 3 million people or thereabout. But we can be friends with Britain. It's all about interest. You can use Britain to get what you want. You can use America to get what you want. Soviet Union supply arms to Nigeria to kill us during the war. But some of us even love Russia today. They love Russia today. So this thing we have to remove emotions when it comes to international politics. It's not about what you see. It's about how do you want to achieve what you want. But our people are not, they don't know. And you don't blame them. Look at the education system in Nigeria. You know what happened there where people do something? You make exam, you give a lecturer 5,000, 6,000 naira to grade you, to pass you, give you A. Anytime I was discussing with our head of department a few days ago, when I mentioned that, he was looking at me, he couldn't believe it, that such a thing happened. Or such a thing would ever happen in a country. He couldn't believe it because he can't try such a thing here, or harassing a woman for grade. It can't happen. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't blame people. The environment they're operating from is bad.
Okay.
So you don't. Yeah, exactly. That's why sometimes I don't. When I go online, I see people defend these politicians, people like Uzodinma, people like Tinubu. I look at them, I cry. People that made your life miserable, we are defending them. It's because they lack the capacity to reason well. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, thanks so much. That is a very wonderful moment. Because of our time, we are switching fastly to the next topic there, which has to do with revolution. Doc, this self-determination and revolution now processes have been highly misconstrued. You know, people tend not to really understand where one ends and where one starts. You know, people have also alluded wrongly, you know, revolutionary leaders to be self-determination leaders. People, you know, these have been a kind of concepts I think we can only be properly guided by intellectuals who have done a whole lot of researches on that, on the topic we're talking about, who have really mastered a lot of knowledge, you know, to tell us that this approach is a revolutionary approach, is not self-determination approach. So, Doc, let us have your opinion as regards to what actually are the features, characteristics of a revolutionary movement against self-determination movement.
Thank you very much. These are two different concepts, political concepts, self-determination and revolution. Self-determination, as I mentioned earlier, has to do with, they have two dimensions, external and internal. The first one has to do with the right of a people, a group of people or territory to enjoy political, civil, cultural, and social rights, right? While the other one has to do with parting with a territory, a group parting with a territory of a parent state. Now, when it comes to revolution, revolution is a movement for social change, political change, changing of a system, a bad system to a good system. So it doesn't necessarily mean self-determination. It doesn't necessarily mean secession. For instance, I give you what happened in France in 1789. Actually, the French Revolution started in 1789, right?
Yeah.
By the ordinary people, the peasants started the revolution in 1789. What caused that revolution? Because people were suffering. The issue of feudalism, you know, feudalism you have today in the northern part of Nigeria. I can understand that Nigeria is a feudal state. I'm sorry to say that, but it's a feudal state. Now, the issue of feudalism here, the landowners, we call them what do you call them? Something manor. Lord of the manor, those guys, they were the ones enjoying the whole system. The king, the reverend fathers, the pastors, the elites, they were the ones enjoying the resources of the system. And the people were disenchanted with the system. And they said, no, we can't allow this to continue. And the workers, the estate managers, and whatever, they started this revolution in 1789 and ended in 1799. At about 10 years, 6 months, that was what the French Revolution ended. As a matter of fact, the leader then, the king of France, was Louis XVI, right?
Yeah.
When Louis XVI was toppled, he wanted to run to Biafran, and he was arrested, he was captured and killed in 1793. But before then, France had already declared a republic in 1792. So when they declared republic, they found that it's different from self-determination here, in the sense that people wanted a social change. They wanted a better system. They didn't. The people of France were not asking for division of the country. Neither they were asking for political rights, social rights for a particular group of people. No, they were trying to change a system that would benefit them and their children. Now, in the United States of America, their own revolution was started from 1765. So it could say that the American Revolution was a prelude to French Revolution, because the American Revolution happened before French Revolution, 1765. That was when the American Revolution started. But Britain had their own revolution. England had their revolution from 1640 something. Yes, but it culminated in 1688. Before this guy was Charles I was already killed in 1640 something. Before the accumulation of that in 1648. So England Revolution happened before American Revolution to French Revolution. So you can say that they're the same, but they lead to the same thing: emancipation, right? Emancipation of the ordinary people. Self-determination and revolution have to do with emancipation of the ordinary people per se. And I will give you an example. Look at Eastern Nigeria today. People like Opus Odinma are now asking for Biafra. People like, you call them, what do you call that, the chief priests and co. These are the people that think that they are Buja. They don't need it. Ordinary people are the ones who are angling to have Biafra. So That is where you can connect revolution to reference to cessation, to self-determination, issue of emancipation. The proletariat and the bourgeois. Remember capitalism by Karl Marx. Yeah. So the ordinary people will always fight to be liberated from oppression. Look at the bishops I mentioned earlier. The Catholic bishop, the Anglican bishop, they don't give a damn about your freedom. They would rather partner with politicians because they think they're okay. They don't need anything. But when you go to civilized countries like Britain, look at Scotland. When Scotland was fighting for its independence, it was anchored by Nicola Sturgeon, who was then the first minister of Scotland, right?
Okay.
Yes, if you go to Catalonia, the independence of Catalonia was anchored by the president of Catalonia. You go to Quebec, the same thing applies to Quebec.
In Canada.
Our own case in Canada, because that was the issue of civilization I was talking about before, people are not civilized. That is why someone like me, I have seen a lot of Igbos online. They see you as a poor person when you're fighting for Biafra. They think that every person who is fighting for Biafra is poor, is uneducated. I look at these people, they can't even write their names. But because they lack the basic understanding of what liberation is all about. Some of them that said this in 4 years ago have died. Either the military have shot them, or the other boys have killed them. They don't know. Because they lack the capacity. They don't know what IPOB is. They think that IPOB is just a movement for Okada riders. Even at that, Okada riders are not human beings. I once told somebody that I would rather be a truck pusher than to be a president like Tinubu. He's a Western puppet. I can never be a puppet. I'd rather be a truck pusher. So I have respect for everything anyone does. I would rather be a truck pusher than to be a puppet president. How can somebody be calling you from France to do something and you're doing it? It doesn't make sense. Let's continue.
Thanks so much, Doc. That is a well explained, explanation on the two concepts, because it's important to tell our people to understand this, because sometimes our people tend to associate thinking that a revolutionary leader will automatically turn to a self-determination leader, as in the case of Showore. Showore have always been saying it, Doc, that he is seeking for revolution. But sometimes you see our people, funny enough, they would be expecting somebody like Showore to start talking about self-determination when he's clear on his objective. I think it is hard time we start understanding people's ideology, their concept, what they believe on. And if you want to associate with them on mutual ground, not expecting them to decommission what they have and switch to what you have. It doesn't work that way. So that when you understand someone, his philosophy, you can understand the limit at which you can work with him, you can associate with him. Doc, I don't know if you have anything to add up on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, you mentioned Showore here, and maybe I'll be a bit controversial here. I don't consider Showore as a revolutionary. I see him as an young provocateur. You can't be a revolutionary and you'll be writing that IPOB killed people in the eastern region. I mean, when you read Sahara Reporters, you find out this young man is an agent. He's working for either federal government or CIA. How can you be writing against IPOB every time? The Nigerian army will give you a data, give you information that some ESM member did this. No investigation, you write it. And you are claiming that you are Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's friend. How can you be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's friend? And you are linking him to crimes. It doesn't make sense. So I see him as a young provocateur. That's my own understanding of him, right? Someone like me, there was an election that happened in Osun State. I can't remember, I think 2008 or so. They read that election, I couldn't cry. It didn't happen in Imo State where I come from. It happened in Osun because I hate injustice. The injustice anywhere, according to Martin Luther King Jr., is a threat to justice everywhere. So if Showore is actually a revolutionary, he will buy the idea of Biafra, even if he didn't believe, he didn't want Nigeria to divide. He will argue from the standpoint that Biafra has a right to have its self-determination. Just like there's another guy that worked with Right Television People love him a lot. I don't know why they even love him so much. They call him, I don't know, Muslim guy. They call him Rufai, Rufai, something like that.
Yeah.
So, when I listen to him, maybe I'm not sure he's a journalist anyway. If you're a journalist, you don't come online and be saying that you're against Biafra. No, a journalist shouldn't say that. What you have to explain that you prefer a situation whereby government can negotiate with these people. That's how journalists talk. But if but you have to explain under international law whether secession is allowed, whether referendum is allowed, whether but it doesn't talk from that standpoint. It's always talking about Nigeria as a country. Who are you to say that? You're a journalist. It's not your responsibility to talk about Nigeria being one country. No. So you have to debate the propriety, otherwise, of what IPOB is doing. That is how to do objective
reporting.
I don't know. I don't journalists in Nigeria. I don't know. I've not seen any. Honestly, I saw one day when Kumuyi was telling Nigerians that they should forgive. Kumuyi said that Nigerians should forgive Tinubu whatever he had done. They took 200 million people. I mean, forgive him. I don't understand. This is not a religious issue. This politics we're talking about here. The life of 2 million people have been jeopardized. And the pastor was talking about forgiving Tinubu. And a journalist was saying that Nigerians should forgive, they should forgive Kumuyi because Kumuyi is the pastor who has been preaching about salvation, about repentance. We are talking about politics here. You have to understand, you have to know how to separate politics from religion. Is to let them, they're not the same. So, it's not in the mouth of a journalist to talk about religion, to support a pastor, for talking about forgiving. Forgive who? We're talking about the life of 200 million people, for God's sake. I don't understand how these people reason to this. And you call them journalists? So I don't listen to them. I haven't listened to them because I don't see any of them that does what a journalist should do. Look at the woman from Al Jazeera that confronted Buhari when Buhari was alive. You remember?
Yeah.
Asking to look the video of Biafran that were killed. That is a journalist. Not all these things you see, you have on the right TV talking Bangladesh, and Nigerians worship them. There's one particular one I remember. Something happened in Abia State or so. At Abia State, I think Abia State, about 2 members died, and Arise TV said that IPOB killed them. Either IPOB or ESN killed them. Now, I think Enugu State, the bishops have to
Enugu State. Yes.
And the other one was shocked. Nobody knew who killed them. How can a television station say something? No consequences. They just come out and be saying whatever they like to say. So where do you have these journalists in Nigeria? One of the arguments I made in one of the articles I wrote, the title is, "Will social justice for the people of Southeast Nigeria prevent Biafra secession?" One of the arguments I made is this. You don't have to rely on Nigerian data because Nigerian government is an interested party in the Biafran struggle. Okay? Not that police will give you information about IPOB, you go and write it. The military will give you information, you go and write it. I even accused Amnesty International of being biased of what happened in Okigwe Road. If you can remember, some people were killed in less than 24 hours. Amnesty International linked it to IPOB. How? No investigation, nothing. That was the argument in my article. That you don't do that. You have to bring an independent body to verify if actually IPOB or ESN did it. So when it comes to journalism, you have to be objective, but we don't have objective journalists in Nigeria. Thank you. So whether for me is not a revolutionary. I'm sorry to say that. It's fighting for an interest. Maybe I don't know the interest it's fighting for. That's my opinion.
Okay, thanks once again, Doc. Before we open the line, I want to come back to you from we're definitely going to talk about it, but I want to assume the earlier topic we started with, which has to do with your personal experience while trying to affice, or should I say, why you're trying to put the name Biafra, IPOB, ESN in the journal you published. I know you had a whole lot of challenges while you were trying to give an objective narrative as regards to what was going on, and all everything that you know about the struggle. Please, could you please share to us, because we would want to know, would want to learn your experiences in course of publishing your journal, which I have also gone through it. It's really wonderful. The platform is one of the best, highly respected platform for journal publication. So let us know the challenges you face while you are trying to, get IPOB, get ESN, get Biafra into such international platform.
Thank you, Mashineke. Actually, the article here on the island here, for you to graduate as a PhD student, you must publish an article index in SSCI journal, Social Science Index, or arts, depends on the area of your chosen profession. Now, that SSCI is highly regarded index, okay? Mm-hmm. You must publish. If you don't do that, you won't graduate. Mm-hmm. Now, I sent this article to different journals. One particular journal, the editor, one of the reviewers, because when you send this article to journals, they send the article to experts who will look at them to find if they are suitable for publication. So one of the reviewers, whom I thought maybe is a Nigerian anyway, because he understood what I wrote, said that I am biased, that if I want this article to be published, that I have to write that IPOB, ESN members have been killing police security men in the eastern region, that they use that word, in Biafran land, and been killing police and the army. And a lot of things he said. So I had to write a protest letter to the journal that this man is not talking like a reviewer and this part. Rather, he's talking like a spokesperson for the Nigerian government. That I have references there. You have to look at those references to find out if I made up the story, if what I wrote were actually true or not. So why delving into the I don't know. You are not a spokesperson of Nigerian government. As a reviewer, you have to be objective in reporting, making references, making your reports to the journal to see if the paper can be published or not. So what I did was to withdraw the article from the journal. I didn't go on with it. Now I sent it to another journal. You can't believe it. One journal in Enugu, Soka. I mean, not in Enugu rather, but one of the, I think the deputy editor is from UNS. Okay. So one of the reviewers made recommendations that I should change one or two things, but it was rejected. Rejected by an Igbo man. It was rejected by our own brother. Yes, the man made the recommendation that I should make some corrections, but he rejected the article before I sent it to another journal. Now, that journal even asked me to discuss IPOB and ESN, the formation of IPOB and ESN. And I had to delve into the politics of ESN and IPOB when ESN was formed, what brought about the formation of ESN, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to differentiate ESN from BLA, Biafran Liberation Army,
correct,
and autopilot from IPOB. Yes, I did that. So I made references to many of the publications from IPOB, the standing the group from autopilot and this other group, mushroom groups.
And sorry, Doc, for our viewers who might not understand what you're discussing now. I currently projected the journal. So on the screen of your gadget, viewers, this is the journal he published in one of the best international platforms, where he was able to do for us what we could not, get with money. And that is exactly what he's discussing. I just projected it on the screen. And of course, that is what Doctor is talking about, the difficulties at which he passed before getting to this place. Sorry for cutting you in, Doc.
Yeah. So now, I distinguished terrorism from secession in that particular article. Now, I said that when it comes to terrorism, I mentioned the features of terrorism, right? The terrorist organization and the features of a secessionist group. Number one, a secessionist group can be a violent secessionist group and non-violent secessionist, just like IPOB. And I did mention in the case of African National Congress, ANC. ANC is not a secessionist group, as you can see, but it's a self-determination group. Am I right?
You're quite correct.
Thank you very much. Now, African National Congress used violence in its attempt to liberate it from the white minority rule. There was Unconto, Wesiswe, whatever. That's the form, the armed group of ANC then. Now, notwithstanding the fact that ANC was violent in its approach, many countries supported ANC. Now, the difference here is the objective of the freedom movement and the objective of terrorist organization. Not even violent now, but the objective and the target. Now, you have to differentiate a terrorist organization from a self-determination organization through its target. Even where both of them use violence, are they targeting children? Are they targeting women? Are they targeting government infrastructures, government buildings, stuff like that? ANC was not targeting children. ANC was not targeting women. Rather, ANC was targeting government buildings and all that.
Okay, sorry, Doc, let us get something here. You are intellectually positing, building your fact from historical antecedent that there are cases where violence could be seen in the case of self-determination, as also in the case of terrorism, but the determinant factor of, is the intent, the purpose. Am I correct?
Exactly. The purpose and the target.
Okay.
Yes.
Just for clarity purpose.
The target of that violence. Now, if you wash out, in the case of Biafra, IPOB, Nigerian government will always hinge its argument that IPOB is killing Igbo people. The government is trying to delegitimize IPOB's struggle.
Okay.
That's what they're doing. Now, the government really talks about IPOB targeting its infrastructure. They really talk about that. But they always talk about killing their own people so that the international community will turn against us, so that people will turn against us. That's what they're doing. Right? So what makes a group a terrorist organization? Its intent. Just like in law, that's what we call mens rea and actus rea, the guilty mind. You can kill someone, in law, you can kill someone and you face capital offense. But there are circumstances whereby you can kill someone who will not face capital offense, right? That is when the intention is not there. You have the actus rea, which is the action itself, but the mens rea was not there because you never intended to kill the person. This is the difference. Now, I don't even understand where I'm coming from. Mens rea and actus rea. Yes, it plays a very important role. These two, you have to consider the guilty mind and the action itself.
Okay.
I could be driving, kill someone. I didn't intend to kill the person, but I killed the person, yes. Am I going to face capital offense? No. Something like that. So basically, our people don't understand why Nigerian government keep bringing up propaganda every time, using right television, using Sahara Reporters, Daily Time, Daily Post, or whatever. They are using this to color the minds of the people, to make our people, especially our women. I don't know what's wrong with some Igbo women. When you go on and see them, most of them don't understand what is happening. They will be accusing IPOB, ESN of killing our own people without knowing that this is being orchestrated by the Nigerian government. It's not by IPOB or ESN. Before Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya, did you hear any issues of IPOB, ESN killing anybody? No. It was after he was abducted from Kenya that Nigerian government used some agent from Oketuas in Igbo land to orchestrate what they're doing. Look at the other guy. That one guy, they call Chijoke. He has a platform where he invites some criminals. They will go there and talk rubbish. I don't know if you know I don't know his name. He invites some people to go there, and he's trying to project the killings in Igbo land that done by IPOB. The Ekotutu market was burned down by IPOB ESN. I don't know his name. Just be bringing people. These are paid agents. They are paid by Soludo. They are paid by Mopuz Odema. They are paid by. There's one Reverend Father, Padoloma in Abuja. It's part of them. I'm sorry to say that it's part of this agent of provocateur as in Igbo land. I met him. I wrote him one day. Where are you? You are from Olu, where I come from also. A lot of people have been murdered. Most of them have murdered thousands in Olu. Don't talk about it. Your problem is IPOB ESN. You don't talk about those of them, but you always talk about IPOB ESN. It was when he worked with Udele and Co that I realized that he was a paid agent, Adoloma. He works with them. So, I mean, our situation is highly complicated.
Okay, let's, so that we don't really digress deeper beyond our digressing lines.
It's always like that sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. We are also still talking about your research work, where you did a very good job. You know, our people do not understand the importance of having scholars in freedom fighting, you know, because I read a journal and I wonder, you know, the courage you had to do such a PR for the movement, whether we like it or not. That is what a public relation expert or firm could do for a movement like ours. And, you know, it runs into millions of dollars to have such a thing done, but you did it on a ground of passion and, you know, love for motherland. And I could remember vividly some of the supervisors never wanted you to get that job done because of the image cleaning you did for IPOB. Please, were you suspecting some of those who opposed you to be agent of the Nigerian state at global level? Let's hear your view on that.
I wouldn't say so. It might be out of religious bias or something, because my supervisor then, my former supervisor, is a Muslim. So I don't know, because there's something I wrote about when you look at Nigeria's constitution, I think section 10 says that no state should adopt any religion as a state religion. And Islam was mentioned many places. If you look at Nigerian, Islam was mentioned many places in the constitution. And Muhammad also, I don't know, either Muhammad, but I know that Islam is there. You can find it in many sections of Nigerian constitution. You see Grand Kadi, you see Kadi on all that. You will see a Reverend Father there. You will see pastor there. You will see church there. So that was my argument, that this is not supposed to happen in a secular state like Nigeria. It's not supposed to happen in a secular state like Turkey. You know that Turkey is a secular state, not an Islam. You know Turkey is not a Muslim state. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to maybe for you to understand now. So this kind of thing should not happen in Nigeria as a secular state. Do you know what they asked me? Are Christians complaining? I was shocked to Imaros when he made that statement. Are Christians complaining? So what I did was I removed some part of anything that had to do with religion from that article. I didn't want to, I had to remove some of the stuff that had to do with religion. So I dwelled more on ethnic issues, on Igbos, the way Igbos are being marginalized in Nigeria, the TRs, you know, reconciliation, rehabilitation. And
so that you can give him the posture of complaining that he's looking for, because he is looking for complaining.
Yes, so exactly. So when I did that, now I realized that the man has personal issues with me. He had personal issues with me, but I couldn't place my hand on exactly why he was behaving like that. So when my paper, as I said earlier, when my paper was out, I told him that my paper is out, so I should be graduating. So he said that the committee meeting will be held January this year. I said, why? You don't want me to graduate? So he started speaking Turkish to members of the committee, you know, and I barely understand the language for 15 minutes. That was when I told him that I am an Igbo person. He can't intimidate me. I started shouting at him, you know. So even the committee members were sympathetic, but they couldn't do nothing, because ordinarily my supervisor should be the one to protect me, but he's the one now attacking me. So I knew that I won't be graduating January this year. So what I did was to vent my anger openly. So he told me, although before then he told me that he will no longer supervise me because he already retired. He retired last year. So I told him that, you knew you hate me? You don't like what I'm writing on? When you retired, why didn't you leave my paper? So I could approach another supervisor. Why did you go with it? because I couldn't fathom why he made with my paper. It was later I realized that he wanted to frustrate me. Sometimes I would give him my thesis to go through. He will keep it for 6 months. I'll be writing him, sir, please, can you make some corrections and give back to me so that I can correct and send back to you? He'll keep promising me. He kept delaying me until sometime in February or so. I met another professor. He was former deputy prime minister of the island. And he was a foreign minister also, was a foreign minister of the island. He wasn't there. I think he was serving the government when I started my thesis. So I never met him. So I don't know, I had to approach him and explain my situation to him. That look at what I'm passing through. Can you supervise me? So the man told me that I have a lot in my hand and I'm a chairman of the party here, People's Party. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. Can you explain your situation to me? I explained everything to him. He said, okay, can you send your thesis to me? I did. Then in the evening, he called me. They had to summon a meeting, departmental meeting because of me, because of my issue. So they look at my thesis to see if the thesis was okay, for acceptance. So he called me that by the evening, he will get back to me. Now, the man called me and told me that they have realized that the man had issues with me. I was surprised. Imagine no black person was there. Everybody from their country in that meeting, but they were against my former supervisor. They reached a verdict that it was a problem, that it was the reason that I could not graduate. He now told me that, Frederick, don't worry, you are going to graduate. I'm going to help you. A former deputy prime minister, former foreign minister. So I'm taking the point to make sure that I will not stay beyond June this year. Everything within his arsenal to help me graduate. I've never seen such a lot.
Well,
when he was just ask me.
Yeah, well, congratulations that when people talk about sacrifice for the struggle, our people, should I say, we understand sacrifice from the conventional, if there's any word like that, because I have to be careful with choice of languages here. Yeah. But I think when people talk about sacrifice, you see, this is somebody who was trying to bring IPOB, ESN, Biafra on international journal platform, and he faced persecution. He has paid his own sacrifice. And there are millions of our people. There are millions of our people who are also suffering, pushing hard. Do not just think that any one of us is doing better than another. Absolutely, there is nothing like that. Look at his own story. Look at his own experience. And beneath this program on the screen, you will see the journal. I just attached it there, just for you to understand what a man passed through, because he wanted to make. Ordinarily, there would have been someone else, and he would drop the topic. Doc, isn't it? Someone else, someone else might not have
advised me. Even some family members advised me, why don't you drop the topic, drop the article so that you can graduate?
Of course, someone else wouldn't have, finished up. But here today, on international research platform, I have made an intensive research on the platform, and I discover it has a high reputation, and somebody added extra time of graduation because he wanted to make sure that, you see, at international level, IPOB is not associated with terrorism, with criminality. This is how men and women have secretly been fighting to disassociate this movement from any stain, from any record of terrorism and criminality. And that is why some of us, even at the media level, when we say, do not associate with this, when the leadership of this movement comes and say, we are not part of this, some people misinterpret it to be out of cowardice. And unfortunately, some of you who give that posture that narrative of coward will not even be where those issues will be discussed. Look at Doc here. At the level of international intellectual level, people are invoking the actions of certain elements to pile it on us. We always call for wisdom. We always call for intelligence because, people who are not smart will always be destroying themselves thinking they are playing a good card for themselves. Doc, quickly before we allow callers to come, let's talk about terrorism, self-determination and terrorism. Historically speaking, one thing is common. State actors always go into rush in tagging freedom fighters terrorists. Please let me hear your opinion in that regard.
So, sorry, before this, just let me say something, just 1 minute, just give me a minute. I don't know. The police have accosted me here on the island.
Okay.
When I was wearing Biafra beret, they accosted me. And I was like, what happened? I realized that someone reported me to them, that I belong to a terrorist organization. So when I asked the policeman, do you want my student number? I will give you. Do you need my phone number? I will give you. So I said, no problem. So he took my student number. In the evening, they called me that they want to have a meeting with me. So I told them, I can come to the police station. They said, no, they can come to my place. So they can. So I explained, said that IPOB is a terrorist organization. I laughed. I said, you are fighting for independence. He said, how do the other side see you? He laughed. He said, yes, they also see us as terrorists the same way Nigerian government sees us. I now brought an article written by a UK advocate about Nigeria. Nigeria is a terrorist country, killing children. I showed him, can you see what Nigeria is doing? This is a terrorist country here. Started laughing. So he told me that, he asked me, had anyone attacked me here on the island before? I said, no. That was when I realized it was a Nigerian that reported me to them. I said, how can they attack me? I'm very bold. They call me Biafra here. So why should someone attack me? Attack me what for? So he now told me that anytime I have any threat, I should come to the police and report. So imagine what will happen to other Igbos who identify as Biafrans here and all that. They'll protect the person. Because I viewed myself as, I don't know. Let me not go there. Let's continue, please.
Okay. Let's finally on terrorism.
You asked a question about terrorism. Yes. Can you just briefly say something?
Okay, I said state actors, historically speaking, state actors are known for rushing, making a hasty decision on, tagging freedom fighters terrorists. What is your opinion on that?
Yes. Do you remember what they always say? You give a dog a bad name to do what? To kill it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We shouldn't be surprised that Nigeria called IPOB a terrorist organization. It's a normal thing. That's a dying dog. What do you expect Nigeria, a dying horse? What do you expect Nigeria to do? But the important thing is, how does the international community see IPOB? IPOB has over 80, 90 branches all over the world. Have you ever had anybody lost his purse where IPOB had a match? One of the articles I wrote, I made something like that. IPOB participated in St. Patrick's celebrations in Ireland. Does a terrorist organization participate in such a thing? We all know all this. They know. So even CIA, British Empire, whatever it's called, British, is it M15 or MI5? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
And Israeli, Mossad, they know this is more than we do. They know that IPOB is not a terrorist organization. But what we should do is to protect that name, IPOB. Very important. Madam Abuchi, I love that young man. I always follow him. I watch him every time he's on air. He said, IPOB tried everything to protect that name, that image. It's more important than any individual. IPOB is more important than any individual. One of my relatives was scared because they think that I might be killed at any time or something will happen to me. I asked, are you a Christian? She said, yes. But Jesus died for you. He said, yes, Jesus died for us. So if I die for Biafra, is it a problem? Are you not a hypocrite? You are celebrating Jesus. You don't want to celebrate. Don't want your brother to be celebrated. Because I die for Biafra. But I asked her a very simple question. that touch her. You have a child. I don't have any child for now. Do you think it's not wickedness for me to produce a child or become a slave like me? Do you think I am comfortable that my mother gave birth to me, that I'm a slave today, and I want to go and bring a child that will suffer what I'm suffering? I have to fight. Let it be that I didn't achieve what I'm fighting for, but at least I have done my best. That I would rather die fighting than be a slave. It's better for Britain to be colonizing me. At least when it comes to colonization, direct colonization, you have electricity, you have water, you have good roads. Not this new colonialism. They are in UK using some cattle headers, cattle headers to run our life, live our lives. It doesn't make sense. So sometimes I find it why some people keep quiet and something is happening. Because of you want to make money, you want to become this and that, you accept slavery, a state of servitude. Do you know do you know what Igbo people did during the slave trade when they were being taken to the United States? They died. They said we rather die than to be slaves. So it baffles me sometimes. I wonder where some of this generation of Igbo people come from that want to remain slave to Fulani, illiterate cattle headers. It doesn't make sense to me. I won't accept it. If everybody's accept this, I would rather die than to be a slave to Fulani.
That
will
is
ruin my life, ruin the life of my offspring. No, it won't happen.
That is great, Doc. Okay. I think we have to open the line, but some persons are asking about your handle, your page, or should I say your account to follow on social media. So I have to just name it so that some people can search for those who are interested to know his account. And I believe Doc will be doing us justice by also educating us. I'm talking about writing on his page so that people can as well get wealth of knowledge. If you go to your Facebook and look for Dera Igwe, Dera D-E-R-A, then Igwe I-G-W-E, Dera Igwe, you will see him on that page. I think that place he has so far I don't know, he has 452 friends, but less than 1,452 friends. You can, and he has it has about 196 posts. That is his handle. While we are waiting for callers to call in, Doc, I would want to hear your view in respect to the dimension. Do you want to say something?
Yes, you can mention I'm not active on Facebook. I hardly use Facebook.
Okay.
Twitter. You can check Twitter. I think I have up to 2,000 followers there, or 1,000 from that.
Okay. Can we hear what your Twitter, your S handle is, please? The name.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. There I will
search me on Twitter.
Okay.
I have up to 1,800 followers there. I hardly use. I'm not a social media person anymore. But
yeah.
I will try my best to engage there. Yeah, I hardly engage with social media.
Yeah, Dera Igwe on S on Facebook. That is the person. Yeah. Okay. While we're waiting for callers to call in, oh shit, I forgot to get the number to call, but I have to tag it here because no distant time we are going to. Okay. I thought I got it here. Okay, while we are about to pen down the number to call, Doc, you recently, because we are just rounding off, you recently heard about the transition to institutionalization of this great movement. And let us hear your professional advice as an expert on self-determination, secession, and other geopolitical issues. What do you think that such configuration poses for the movement?
Yes, I don't want to say I think, but I think that's the right thing we should do. And you cannot be, it shouldn't be taken serious, and if you don't have any institution when you are fighting for self-determination.
Okay.
Everything should not be, it shouldn't be visualized. Biafra administration, they have to take it to another level by institutionalizing it, so that when this country want to issue, they issue through organization, not through individuals. What happens to, for instance, if I am the head of IPOB today, and if I die today, what happens? Would the institution continue with the IPOB principles, continue with the IPOB agitation continue? That's what our people have to understand. It's very strategic to have an institution as we have. It's very, very important. So even before now, I was surprised that we never had something like that. Yes, where you have supreme leaders everywhere, and we are not Iran. We are Igbos. We are Republicans in nature. We don't worship anybody. So we need to have an institution, and that institution should be worshipped, not any individual. The institution is supposed to be bigger than any human being, any organism, any person. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
IPB principle supersede any human being. Be you whoever you want to be. We don't give it that. That institution is very important. I was very happy the first time I heard that the leadership of IPOB wanted to institutionalize the IPOB. Is there any argument here? There's no argument here. What else could they have done? Scotland has institution. Quebec has an institution. Other places, that, I mean, Angola, you know, the Angola people, the Ambazonia, they are even, Ambazonia is not like what we are doing before. They have Ambazonia governing, I think governing something. I don't know how they call it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I think this was a very good opportunity for us to do that. I support it 100%.
Thanks so much.
I wonder why someone could be attacking the institutionalization of IPOB. It doesn't make sense to me. How can you be taken seriously by the international community if you don't have any institution? They meet institution, not you as a person. Yes.
Okay, that is wonderful from our guest. I tried pinning down the numbers to call, but it seems, Doc, I must tell you, we are having a whole lot of positive responses from the comment section, and I think people wish to call in. Okay, I'm going to call the number so that you can pin it down. I'm trying to pin it, but I wouldn't know what is going on with the gadget. So +352 for those of us who would want to call in through the WhatsApp and make contribution. +358 4661 86150. I repeat, +358 4661 86150. That is the WhatsApp number to call in for this program. For those of you who might want to call in and contribute in next 26 minutes, we are going to come to the end of this program. We have the first caller here. I don't know if you have a contribution or question to raise for Doctor. Remember, the questions are not for I, because I have someone who is far, far higher and greater than I. So he's going to do a whole lot of responses to our questions. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Mazi, good morning from here. My name remains Chika.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Live and direct. And I believe Doc, I believe you're also hearing him. You can hear him. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Chika. I'm calling from Houston, Texas. Thank you. self-determination, self-determination, and self-determination, and self-determination.
Okay. Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me? Okay, hold on. We want to confirm something. People are saying they can't hear you. But let me know if they can hear me. Please let me know. I want to know if our listeners, can you hear me? Our listeners, can you hear me? I don't know what is going on. Yeah, no, I want to really get it from the end. But from your own end, from the gadget.
Yeah, you're coming here from my gadgets.
Not from the WhatsApp, I mean from the visual.
Yeah, from my Facebook.
Okay. They are saying we can hear. Okay, caller, can you go ahead? Go back to the question. Let's see if they can hear you.
Self-determination and there's self-determination. Which self-determination having international political systems and socially. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much. And Doc, I believe you heard him loud and clear.
I did.
Okay.
I heard him.
Okay, thanks so much. Your response.
Yeah, it's right. I did mention internal self-determination and external self-determination. So I did say that internal has to do with ability to control your resources, control your political, civil, and cultural, social rights within the country, right?
Yeah.
Now, the issue of external self-determination arises where the government prevents you from enjoying these rights that you should have internally. That's what gives right to external self-determination. So the issue of what we are fighting for is external self-determination. While fighting for external self-determination, we should also have our right within the Nigerian system we have today. That's why sometimes you see people saying that, oh, we are not interested in whatever happens in our land. We should be interested in what happens in our land, notwithstanding the fact that election, you know how elections is done in Nigeria, it's always rigged. Someone like me cannot vote in any election in Nigeria, whether in Imo, Anambra, or in the entire Nigeria, I cannot vote. But that does not mean we shouldn't push our governors to provide the basic things that we need as long as we still remain in Nigeria, right? But what IPOB is asking for is not the right of internal self-determination. What IPOB is asking for is the right of external self-determination because the government has violated our right of internal self-determination. Okay. Is that clear? Yeah. We have passed the level of asking for, like when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu presented before the governors what Nigerian government should do. Give us Ipob, give us Ipob, give us this, give us that. Then we can reconsider. They didn't do anything about it. That is asking for right of internal self-determination. But when we realize that instead of government to do what we are asking for, the government use arms to, use kinetic approach instead of negotiating with us, right? So the right of external self-determination arises where the government has violated the right of internal self-determination.
Okay. So
what we are fighting for now is no longer internal right of self-determination, rather external.
Okay, he specifically asked that based on your analysis, where would you rate the position of IPOB?
Yes, well, it wouldn't, like, when it comes to diplomacy is not something you just come in the market and be shouting, this is what I've achieved. Okay. So some things are left for the members of the IPOB Directorates of State. They have met a lot of people, so we don't know who they met. So it's not like where people will come out and take pictures and tell that this is what we have done. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not a member of the US. But what I can see, the Directorate of State has been able to bring us together, has been able to maintain that name, good name of IPOB. So what else are we asking for? So we should support the Directorate of State to push ahead for us to help Biafra, whichever way we can help, wherever you are. Whether you are in America, whether you are in Germany, anywhere you are. Talk about Biafra. Tell the people to understand. Let people know what is happening to you. That's how you can move this forward. So it's not something that US can do alone. Okay? So wherever you are, whatever you can do, you add it. When one person does something, another person does something, before you know it, the whole world will know about Biafra. I was surprised when I came here and mentioned Biafra, but people say they never heard about Biafra. But today, a lot of people know about Biafra here. Because I try to sell the good product to people. I try to explain to them. I remember 2019, one of my professors said, you are Nigerian. I said, no, I'm not a Nigerian, I'm a Biafran. They look at me. He said, what do you mean by Biafra? They go and search. You know why people, they like to research. He came up and said, I'm sorry. That's what the man said, I'm sorry. I said, why? You people lost over 2 million people. Say yes. And I called you a Nigerian. He was surprised. Sorry, I was surprised the way he reacted. He apologized to me for calling me a Nigerian. You know, we Africans, sometimes I was asking somebody, do you think God really made us? Because when you go to Palestine, you'll never see any Palestinian identifying as an Israeli person. You know, Palestine does not have independence. They're still under Israel. But you see an Igbo man saying I'm a Nigerian. Proudly. Sometimes I wonder. You see a government that comes to your land, burn down homes, rape women, kill a lot of people, make people, you still claim that you are proud of Nigeria. I can only talk about Nigeria officially because my passport bears Nigeria. Apart from that, I can never tell anybody I'm Nigerian. I will tell you I'm a Biafran. I can't. Why should I? So most of us have to understand the importance of what we are doing. Some of us don't understand what it is. They don't understand what self-determination is all about. That is why any little thing you see them jump up, they leave. There's some people I respected before. Today, you see them attacking the US, attacking China, saying a number of things because they don't even know where they stand. Okay? People like us, like me, there's something I told you earlier when I discussed with you briefly. I was looking for where to join IPOB in Abuja when I was in Abuja. Do you think someone like me can leave IPOB tomorrow? I cannot, because nobody preached to me. I wanted it. I desired it. I looked for IPOB for 3 good years, from 2015 when I met Mazi at the Uje Magistrate Court when he was
you told me. Yeah, you told me.
Their meetings, IPOB members in Abuja. So I don't think somebody can take me out of IPOB, because I knew what IPOB stood for, and I know what IPOB stands for. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, we have a hanging caller here. Caller, so sorry we have kept you so long. Are you there, caller?
Thank you, Mazi. Yes, I am here. Can you hear me, Mazi?
Yes, I can hear you. We sincerely apologize for keeping you waiting so long. Because I wanted a doctor.
Here together, we must do everything we can to make sure that what we are doing give us the fruit that we require. So even if it takes the whole day for me to wait,
you're welcome.
It's worth it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. My name remains Mazi.
I hope that is the candidate, the principal. Sorry. I hope is the candidate of the principal officer in Malaysia. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
We have been in this struggle, and we decided when we came out, we know that what we are fighting for is for the generation to come, because we that are doing all these things, we may not be there, or we may not enjoy the fruit that is coming. That is why we invested all our time, all our efforts, all our resources to see that Biafra is restored, not for us. That is the reason why everything we are doing, we must give kudos and encouragement to the leadership of this global movement, the IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra. The Nigerian government is doing everything. They are trying everything to make sure that they quench this fire that is burning for the freedom of our people, which we are championing peacefully through the mandate and the laws, international laws, domestic laws, guaranteed African Charter on Human and People's Rights. What we are doing is legitimate. We are not criminals. We are not violent people. Mazi Chika, do you know that we would have gotten this restoration in 2017 when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out of prison, when Barrister Ejiofor helped him and release him from prison? That is when we would have gotten this Biafra. If there is genuine love for our people, Mazi Chika, our heart is broken. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came to us 3 times in Malaysia. We stood, we were with him, we prayed, we fasted, we spent the whole day together with him praying in our hall, thinking that we are getting Biafra. The betrayal is so devastating. If we had invested in Biafra restoration for what we are going to get, or if Biafra is restored, we will get this or get that, my brother, we would have had heart attack. But what saved us is that we entered into this struggle with the hope that we are restoring Biafra for the generation to come, not for what we are going to benefit. That is why we invested everything. I remember when we were at the JI Club, at the fundraising, where this struggle started. We have done everything. Nnamdi Kanu did this thing to us. Our leadership must remain steadfast and make sure that the Constitution, the reformation, the institutionalization of IPOB continues in a very strong and genuine backup, because we are not going to back down. Mazi, our people are very, very angry about what happened, but we must get Biafra. I told our people, when I go to our IPOB function, we have been going to IPOB meeting, going to functions. In 2017, we did Free Nnamdi Kanu protest in Kuala Lumpur. We have been doing it every year. We print We print T-shirt, writing free Namdekan everywhere. All these things we did, Namdekan said that we have done nothing. Mazi Chika, our heart is bleeding, and with that bleeding heart, we must restore Biafra for the future.
Thanks so much.
We must continue.
Thanks so much.
Even if we spend everything we do, and Biafra is not restored, we have done nothing. That is why I don't see, we have done nothing. I don't see Namdekan as a savior because Biafra has never been restored. Thank you so much, Mazi Chika. I'm so happy to see that people of genuine understanding of what is happening is speaking up to see that we do not deviate from this mandate. Because if we fail, it will be very, very difficult for people's future. Very, very important. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Mazi Kanu. Mazi Kanu is one of us. He resides in Malaysia, and he has been doing incredible work. Okay, Doc, while we are about rounding off, Doc, I must commend you for giving us your time, speaking on this platform. It's really wonderful to have you here. And on behalf of our viewers, we also wish you always have our time whenever we knock on your door, because you have really, I must tell you, you have really given, personally myself, a sound history, international politics, realistic connectivity, and these are wonderful. Okay, we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am, my brother.
Okay, you're highly welcome. I don't know. Go ahead with your contribution and your question, your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, thank you, Austin. Thank you, our brother, Doctor, your host, in your guest.
Yeah, Dr. Dera Igwe.
Yes, let me see if I can come, and I'm reaching you from the Netherlands.
You're welcome.
Keep us in this kind of presentation, and I thank our brother to make time. I saw the flame of Biafra burning in him, and that is, that is how we are in this movement. Those who are standing steady with the directors of state, those are those who come to restore Biafra, not to make name, to make sense. We stand on our principle. Our people are suffering. We want to rescue our people and our women. And so when somebody speaks, because they say that from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So let's go. And another thing I want to commend the good doctor for is this thing he said. I knew it. I'm not surprised that he said it. I'm only surprised and pained that our people don't, many, not all of our people, because I know that Chika doesn't understand, many of our people don't understand this. And that is that a very few African countries are independent and sovereign. He named Botswana, Namibia, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Some people may be wondering, only a free and independent country will tell another country, you will not be taking our mineral resources, we will get it out, we will sell it at the commodity market.
But caller, to be honest with you, I never knew. To be honest with you, I never knew. I was shocked. Yes. He has forced me to go into research.
Yes. Now, what am I talking about? Only such a country like Botswana. No, Oga, you cannot be taking our gold, refining it, you take it for peanuts, you refine it, you sell it for billions in the international market. The same thing Botswana did. He said, no, you cannot buy our minerals in bulk under the ground. You can't quantify it. You cannot be buying a piece of plot where there is mineral, and then you mine the mineral, and then we get a stipend. No, only an independent and free Mali can say no. You mine our gold. We are termed one of the poorest countries, But we are living on top of gold. Enough of that rubbish, no matter what it costs. The same thing in Burkina Faso. They are living in darkness, and in Nigeria, they're living in darkness while they have gold and the uranium. And the countries that are mining uranium are paying them less than €1, while the quantity of they're paying €1 for is sold for more than $200 in the commodity market. Who does that? Only an independent-minded leader or leaders will say, enough of that bull crap. Forget my French. Whatever it costs. Nigeria is not that. And I thank you for giving the example of our ex-leader being kidnapped in Kenya. I told our people that one of the reasons I'm angry at him for going to Africa is because he had the intelligence, he had the advice and the information not to go to Africa, because African countries are not sovereign and independent.
Sorry, caller, you can't imagine the quality of human resources we have. Do you know DOC is just a mobile intelligence network to tell you where to be and where not to be. And we have such kind of people who are already in communication, helping to build up intelligence and, let us understand how to maneuver the complex global system. And somebody will come up and say IPOB is a movement of urchins. That is not true.
It's not. Because what I was saying about going to Africa or going to everywhere somebody went is that the people, the countries are not independent, they're not sovereign.
Yeah.
One powerful president or one powerful country will lean on them and they hand it over. And that is exactly what happened. So that is about independence and the sovereignty. Because I want to start there because my light was born when he was talking about it. Now, I go to the attitude of our fellow Africans when we talk about Biafra. You will think they are more, Roman than the Pope. These African countries, Ghanaians, Cameroonians. I was in African radio, African diaspora radio in London, and that issue, the man, Mansa Musa, brought up the question of Africa. Or the issue of this, why the agitation in Nigeria for Biafra. I was giving them point by point instances of marginalization, of exclusion, of slaughter, of consistent pogrom before the genocide, at no betterment after the genocide. The Ghanaian, they called him Kofi, is back. That they killed us. If we come again, they will kill us. That we must stay in Nigeria. I said, look, man, look me, look. I said, Mansa Musa, can you remove this man because he's not listening? So what I'm saying is that some Africans don't get it, and then you will talk about the attitude of the majority of African leaders to the Biafran issue, because the African leaders are not independent and sovereign leaders. They are thinking according to the stipulations of their colonial masters, and the interest of their colonial masters is not to restore Biafra. And then, we talk about the attitude of your doctor in the studio, the attitude of your fellow academicians, or attitude of the institutions. Remember, these institutions we are talking about are Eurocentric.
Mm-hmm.
The academicians you are talking about are Eurocentric. So their outlook is on what you call Euro-Atlantic standpoint. So when you are telling them, remember that Africa, especially Nigeria, is dominated by Europeans of all males and species. And then America also is in the. Am I coming out one?
We are listening live and direct. You are quite communicating.
I have an incoming. That's why I was thinking you are telling me it was cut.
No.
That's an incoming. So what I'm saying is that the American multinationals are also taken. So with their European cousins, I'm not saying it that we will be in antagonistic to America or Europe. We need them to deal with us. But I'm saying that the institutions you are dealing with, the intellectuals you are dealing with, who are They know their country's national interest is involved in the country you want to get. And so they want to keep what they have because they don't know the quantity or the quality of what you will give them when you get what you are looking for. So it is now left for us to apply all manner of diplomacy and conviction and explanation to them that we don't seek any antagonism or enmity with them, but we have suffered enough. It's time they deal with us. That is about that point. And then coming to what you said about let's say about revolution versus secession. In this Biafra restoration, sometimes you see our people being made fool of and taken for granted. Showore was going to about to do demonstration, and because people are following him, thinking he's a revolutionary. And I, since 20, let me be conservative. 2019, I concluded that Showore is an agent of Tinubu or agent of APC. It was Showore's party that they wanted to use to take the the Imo State governorship. With the son-in-law for Okorocha, but ASC or whatever they call it, they failed, and therefore they have to blatantly impose the purpose of them. Because this is Showore. And again, so what I'm talking about here is that it is obvious for those who have deep thoughts and observation or inclined to politics and the political activities that Showore, you want Nigeria, you want to live in Nigeria, he doesn't want you to get out of Biafra, but he knows that our people are not seeing him for what he is. But then, if you see his publication, his Sahara report, you'll be thinking, what angle is he coming from? Then you will think and you will know that he's the agent of state. Now, I have to be quick because of time. And we go to terrorism versus freedom fighting or self-defense and self-determination. You see, the terrorists, they are not trying to build anything up. They want to scatter, to emasculate, to dominate, and to conquer. So they will do anything, they will pull anything down, but that's what I'm talking about, the pure terrorists. But people who are fighting for self-determination, that is in comparison with the either vigilante or any group that is built to subject the land. Our people, they are not attacking any extremist group. They are not attacking people who are coming to do their businesses. Our Eastern Security Network says that nobody will kidnap our women, rape our women, kill our farmers, destroy our farms, and living in our bushes. Any same man, being it European or American or Asian, will understand this. And when we talk about the independent of African countries, you would think that big countries like South Africa and Nigeria and Egypt will be championing the freedom of Africa. No, they won't, because they are dependent on the people who are the real ones holding you down, being the foreigners who are using the Fulanis and our dictators as their house slave. I think I have to stop here so that others can go. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Dera, I think because we have an S program today, we will be drawing down from this moment. I sincerely apologize for taking much of your time. I had wanted to make it an hour or an hour, 30 minutes program, but to be honest with you, I wish the lecture never ended, because you have really taken my mind to an extraordinary realm, and I frankly appreciate you, sir. So let's have your final words to the people before we come to the end of today's program, sir.
Yes, thank you, brother, for hosting me. I want to use this opportunity to thank our people, members of IPOB. I don't know if you allow me to speak in Igbo.
Go ahead.
Because I'm Michael and Dini level the IPOB. And the ESN, Sunujisike, Yainema Hobere, ọwụ na anyị chefuru onwe anyị chefuru anyị na-echetakwe anyị nwana ndị na-anọ na Naịjirịa na-echeta unu etu ọbụla anyị ga-etinye aka anyị na-enye aka anyị na-agwa unu biko unu jisi ike ihe ọbụla ị ga-eme ka ichekwaba ndụ gị chekwaba ndụ gị ndụ ka mma ndụ dị mkpa nwotu esiri ezo onwe gị na-ezo onwe gị na-alụkwa ọgụ ị na-alụ Nelson Mandela na onwe ya gbatara ọ Naịjirịa ka ọ gbatara mgbe a na-achị ya na South Africa nweta otu otu onye atụrụ onwe gara n'ime nsogbu adịghị mana anyị ga-agba mbọ anyị isi mana ihe ọzọ anyị ga-eme bụ ka anyị mara ihe anyị na-eso ọwụ onye ọbụla pụtara gwa gị onye ndị ya na ndụpe onye nke a mee onye nke emekwu na-ekwete unu chee echiche cheba ihe anyị echiche ime mana ihe a ji agwa gị ihe dị ụtọ a unu ahapụla US wụ isi mmiri IPOB ọwụ na-enwe ihe ọbụla mere US today ihe anyị na-ekwu ọ ga-akwala nwere ike iteka ihe dị ka afọ maybe I don't know maybe 20 years or 30 years even 100 years inwetakwa ihe dị ka US again biko unu jisi ike na-agba mbọ ihe ọgọ chọrọ ịbụ unu wụ self determination awụwụ obere ihe ebe na-adị Igbo anyị nwere oil anyị nwere gas enweghị anyị na-enwe Nigeria ndị Fulani na ndị Yoruba na ndị ọzọ ha na-ewere ihe ndị anyị nwe na be anyị ọ dịkwa mfe ha nwee hapụ ihe ndị ahụ unu mata enwe ma Danjuma ha na ụmụnne ha nwekọ onye iwe ọdịnala be anyị ma Sọtọ na Sokoto onye mgbe ụfọdụ a na-agwa unu ka enwee ka ha na-akpọ ya enwe restructuring enwee regionalism ọ bụkwa ihe dị otu ahụ ha ga-ekwe ọkwa unu enwe regionalism nwee ihe ndị a ha eluzo ihe ndị a ha nwere na be anyị ihe na ihe ga-agwọrị anyị iwe ọchịa bifọ Tinubu ma ọ na-agwara ya aga regionalize Nigeria mee nke ihe na-awasị ihe na ihe ji agwọrị ndị be anyị ka anyị nwee ike ịga sọpọtụ ha dị na onye ọzọ batakwa gwakwa gị something again biko ka anyị nwee ike ịga na-agba mbọ jidesie IPOB ike South Sudan lụrụ ọgụ for 50 years almost 50 years the first people were twice Eritrea lụrụ ọgụ ihe dị ka 30 years emekara president ha ụmụ nwoke ga-alụwa nwaanyị ha lụwa ọtụtụ ụmụ nwaanyị ka nwee ike ịmụkwa ụmụ ọzọ maka ụmụ nwoke ha gwụrụ agwụ ihe gburu anyị ewu 2.something million ka egburu anyị 1967-70
okay egburu ndị Eritrea so in order to replenish for future war ha so ụmụ nwoke ha nụwa ọtụtụ nwaanyị
yeah president ha gwa ga-alụwa ọtụtụ ụmụ nwaanyị ka ha nwee ike ịmụzi ụmụ nwoke
dọka amanụ m ga-emekwa nna anyị ebere bịakwa n'ọzọ because na ịchọghị ikwuchi okwu na-akọtakwa nke na-agbaka mmadụ isi so enwezie policy of enyezie ndị obodo policy of ịlụ ọtụtụ nwaanyị ka enwe ike ahead prepare for more struggle biko ị ga-adị na-abịara anyị biko ị ga-adị na-abịara anyị
nsogbu adị ka anyị kwụsị na mbọsọ ọzọ ọbụla ị ga-enwe mee ka mmara nsogbu adị ama enye gị I will oblige you.
Ndewo ekene m gị thanks so much Doc. That is the kind of things we need to hear. Ka ndị ọzọ si mee the strategy. Agụrụ m history, agụrụ m international politics, agụrụ m ebe a onye nke emego masters mee ịhụ gị na-akụziziri ndị ọcha n'obodo ha ịhụ na a sị na ọkwa donede nwere oge m na-ọgụta na enwere ihe a na-akpọ policy of reproduction emere na Eritrea ka ha na-egburu ha ọtụtụ ha ebidozie ka enwekwa ike ireproduce na freedom fight na without minds like Dr. Dera Igwe, without minds, sharp minds, ndị ghọtara history, geopolitics. Without that, you can when my people, my own clan, my own Mbise clan, that is just what we have. So I appreciate Dr. Dera Igwe for, obliging me to have him here. He is, in fact, a sound mind. And every single one of you, we couldn't, pick all your calls because we have S program, very interesting program, which all of us will be there.